welcome back to the Off-Grid family. Today we're going to be looking at battery banks, having a little look at how they work. We're going to do a few little tips and tricks to get ones that seem to be not working back to working, and also I'm going to try my hand at fixing one that I found at the tip. I've got two from the tip in recent years and both have been able to be fixed. This one may be the exception, but we'll have a look, see if we can get it fixed. But let's talk about what types there are, because there's many different ones, and then we'll have a look at how they work, because they all work basically in the same way. Let's get on. Okay, so here we have a variety of different power banks. They are all 5 volts for charging phones or various other 5 volt applications. Some of my cameras I use are 5 volt chargers, so that helps because, you know, I could be out and about, or back when I used to be able to go camping, I'd be able to take different various 5 volt chargers and charge my actual camera equipment too. Anyway, we basically have almost all the same type of power bank apart from these two. They're the two odd ones out, but these are all almost exactly the same makeup, just with more batteries. Internally, they are almost exactly the same. So we'll talk about these first. Inside these, they have what's called an 18650 battery, which are these things here. I collect these for various projects, and if you have a look, they would fit quite a bit in this one, whereas in this one, you've got enough room for one and then the charging circuit, and that's basically all these are have in them, is the battery which you charge and then it disperses its power into whatever object you plug in, and then a small charge circuit which allows you to charge it through 5 volts and it dispenses. Dispenses, does that sound right? Do you know what, we're going with dispenses. It's a charge coming out here, and so, most of them are like 1 amp nowadays, 1 and 2 amps. I've got a couple that are 2.5 amps, but basically bog standard. You put power in, you get power out, kind of styly. These are slightly different. In the case of this one, it's photovoltaic, meaning it's got a little solar panel on it. It's more of a con, this one. This very rarely, you know, you could get it to charge ever so slightly from the solar panel, but it was probably draining the batteries more than it was actually charging. When this came out, solar panels were not as good as they are now, so it had to be in a super sunny day, and then you had the risk of, you know, making your batteries overheat, etc. So it just didn't work very well. And this one, the difference between this one is how thick it is. If you have a look at how thick the normal ones are and how thick an 18650 battery is, there's no chance you could fit an 18650 battery in that, and that's basically just, it's a different type of battery. I did a bit of research to find out exactly what type it is, but I can't find it, so I'm not sure, to be honest, and I'm not going to speculate. It could be a multitude of various different ones. I do have an idea of what it might be, but I won't say. Right. These are the type that I quite often have problems with, the one battery. If you leave them for a couple of months and you've had charge in them or not had charge in them, doesn't matter, they just stop charging. And basically you plug them in and nothing happens. You know, there should be a light flashing here. Now, the way to fix these, it's quite simple. Get yourself the best charger you've got, as in phone chargers normally are about 3 amps now. Anywhere and 2 to 3 amps, and plug it in and just leave it plugged in for a couple of hours, and you will see that it just suddenly springs back to life. So don't just chuck these away, because they will come back to life. So far I've not had a single one that has died properly, but they just take a little bit of time to go, oh, I've got a battery and I've been charged, and then they will charge up. It's probably that the 18650 battery has been depleted almost completely. So yeah, just plonk that in on charge on a 2 to 3 amp phone power supply, and then you're good to go. So I will plug in this one here and get this one working if we can, and then by the end of this episode, hopefully I can have plugged that one in and got that one working too. This here is the one I got from the, in fact, those two are ones I've both got from the tip, and that one had a problem with the actual charging port. It had been snapped off, so it was a simple soldering job. All of the batteries in it were fine. This one, does go on, but you can't charge it any more than that. You can't do anything with it. So we're going to open it up, have a look inside, And then we're going to do the same trick as we did doing with the other ones and putting it on a 3 amp charge and seeing if that works. If not, we'll do some jiggery pokering on the inside. This is my little knife I made years and years and years ago, and I'm going to use it to separate this. Just be careful not to slide anything metal in, because you don't want to touch any of the contacts inside it or anything. Yeah, now we are actually breaking this one open in it, but it's not a major issue because I can always stick it back down. Normally they're ultrasonically welded anyway, so you can't actually get into them. But there we go. That is the inside of our battery pack. I'm just going to have a look at the wires a second. Okay, so normally if you get one of these and you found it in a bin somewhere or whatever, you've got eroded terminals and various things like that. But this looks actually in pretty good condition, to be honest. Yeah, right, so let me talk you through a bit of bits and pieces. Obviously this is the charge circuit, and you've got your power in and your 2 power out. And then this little wire coming across here is actually a little temperature sensor to make sure that your batteries don't get too hot and decide to explode. And then these are the 18650 batteries I told you about. Again, the batteries look pretty good, to be honest. Yeah, there doesn't seem to be any problems with them. Oh, and then this little bit here is actually the LED array and the button. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this back together, add a little bit of tape, hang on, add a little bit of tape to it all to stick it back down, and then I'm going to whop it on a fast charge and see what happens. It may not charge and I may have to change all of the batteries. If that's the case, then I will use my 18650 battery spot welder and we'll weld ourselves a few new batteries on. But normally you can see on the batteries if they're damaged. Not always, but they start to get bubbles on them and various other things. But these look really, really in good condition. There's no damage to the board, which again is a sign that it's just been probably over depleted and they've tried to charge it for a little bit of time and nothing's happened. Okay, so this is a bit sort of snapped. There was one side that was already snapped. I think it was actually near the light that had already been snapped. So someone had already tried to open this. Whether they'd succeeded or not, I don't know. But maybe they were just looking to see if there was something specifically wrong with it. But what I'm going to do in a minute then is I'm going to get this on fast charge. I've got the green one on fast charge now, and then I will try the black one, then I'll try this one, and we can see if that was enough to fix it. If not, we can either change the batteries out, or we could just salvage the batteries if they're fine and use them for another power bank. I'm thinking about making a very, very big power bank. Okay, it's been about an hour since we last spoke, and since then I've had both of these on charge, and as I said, now they will both charge. Can you see that in that light? Hang on. Right, hang on. They will both charge normally. I obviously need to get them on charge for longer than I have. Which way around? So they're both working. So now I'm going to try it with this one, and we'll see if we can get that to charge properly. Every time I've plugged it in, it's just had a very low green light, but I haven't tried my trick with the fast charging. So that's what we'll try now. And by the way, when I say fast charging, I don't mean fast charging, I just mean a higher amperage charger. There is no fast charger or anything connected, it's just a bog standard. I think this one's 2.5 amps, is it? Or no, this one's 2 amps, sorry. But I'm just going to leave that now. This light always flashes, even when it's connected to something lower amperage, and nothing, you know, it doesn't seem to charge. So I'm just going to leave that for a little bit and we'll see how we get on. Right, this has been on overnight, and by the time I left the video, it was still only flashing on the one. Let me just turn this off. And it had been 4 or 5 hours just flashing on the one. So I decided to deplete it. So what I did was I unplugged it and plugged it into something. Actually plugged it into another charger. So I then used the charge from this to charge another battery charger. You know, power pack. Ooh. And then I waited till it was completely depleted, there was no light on at all, and then I put it back onto charge, and it then got to this amount of charge, which is just at this end, but now it's stuck again, and it's been flashing like that for a good, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours. So what I'm going to do again is I'm going to put this on to deplete again, charging something else with it, another power pack, and then we can see if we can get it fully charged by the end of today. Right, and that worked. So I discharged it completely and then put it back onto charge, and now it is on full charge. And what we'll do is we'll just test to see if it is discharging properly as well by plopping it into a doohickey. 1 second. I know I'm totally technical today. There you go. Yeah. And that is charging. Although it's 100% anyway, but that works. There you go. Hopefully you haven't had to chuck away any battery packs that you could fix yourself, and hopefully that's helped you fix the ones that you've got. If you ever have problems that can't be solved by this, it may be that the batteries have degraded or one battery has degraded, and if that's the case, in the future I might show how to take out one of the batteries and put a new one in, but that's for a future video. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again next week. Bye for now.